Today we have Norma Kea. Do I pronounce that right? I should have asked you. We've known each other for years, actually. She's the founder of Kindred Health Coaching and creator of the transformative fitness process, Anything But the Gym. It's so fun. Inspired by her own health journey after a mini stroke, Norma's dedicated to making wellness accessible for everyone. With over 7 years in social services, Norma has impacted countless lives. As program director for the Children's Cabinet Rhyme program, she provided critical support to underserved families through personalized care plans and community events. At Northern Nevada Hope, she tackled homelessness with innovative housing solutions. And as a family support specialist for the Division of Welfare, she helped vulnerable families navigate essential services. Through Kindred Health Coaching, Norma creates a movement for wellness, inspiring individuals to join a shared journey of transformation, equity, and empowerment. Her work reflects a lifelong commitment to fostering positive change and building stronger, healthier communities. Norma, I adore you, and I'm so happy to have you on.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you for inviting me. And I'm so happy to be here. And I adore you too. Jen has been in and out of my life since the beginning of this. And
Yeah.
she has always been so helpful and so informative and just the most open and just caring person. And when she told me she had 18 kids, I was like, wow. So thank you for allowing me to be here and to speak to everyone about this. Um, I'm here to talk about stress management, self-care tools for doulas and caregivers. So we're just going to explore some of these tools and how you can integrate them into your routines so that you can better manage stress and prioritize your self-care. The work that doulas do is amazing. We need more doulas. And to watch the Nevada Doula Network just grow, it's really inspiring. So we want to make sure that we keep doulas in our area and keep you guys healthy and just going forward. So, like Jen gave a brief overview, I'm a stroke survivor. So one day I woke up, I was fine. The next minute I saw I was falling into the wall, and I couldn't see. And after that, I had to reevaluate my life. I had to step back. I was doing everything, going 1,000 miles a minute, trying to be everywhere and be everything. And that's when I realized I can't do this. I have to take care of myself. And then when I really found out that 1 in 5 people experience another stroke, I felt like a ticking time bomb. And I was like, oh, I have to do something so I don't have that sensation of I don't have enough time on this earth. And one of the things I did was create Anything But the Gym. And that's our signature program because it's about getting active, healthy, and moving inside your home. It's for people who don't necessarily want to be at the gym, but they still want to do something, but they don't necessarily want to do like CrossFit. So that's what we're known for. And we've helped many people throughout Northern Nevada, over 100 people throughout Northern Nevada, complete the program and work towards their health. So the purpose of this is we're going to explore self-care. So we're going to go over tools. We're going to do a couple scenarios. It seems like, there's some things that happened yesterday for a few of you. So we'll ask you to join in, tell us about it. This is interactive. We want to know what your experience is. We want to be here so that we can maybe craft a plan around self-care for you if we have enough time. So let's get to going. We're going to start with just understanding doulas and caregivers. So let's talk about your workload and then the time pressures that are faced by you, the emotional demands, the physical demands. Are there other pressures? And then common stressors unique to doulas. So when you look at your workload and your time, you guys are called at all sorts of times at night. The baby's coming when the baby's coming. You can't be like, oh no, it's not time, Mr. Baby. No, you're called. And then you have to go out to that birth because you're there for your client and your client needs you. They're counting on you, right? You have long, irregular hours. You are in birth process with the mother. So Who knows how long that labor could be? It could be overnight. It could be a couple of days. It could be back-to-back clients too. So you are just needed for a long period of time, and there's no telling how long that time can be. It can be physically demanding, like if you have to help my mom move, or you're just helping her get comfortable. Emotional demands. You're supporting clients through fear, pain, uncertainty, and unexpected outcomes. You might navigate the with birth trauma or loss, and that could be difficult alongside the families. And then there's compassion fatigue. Many caregivers in the doula network, social work network, nursing network, CNA network. Compassion fatigue is a real issue. It can happen. It does happen, and that's when you see people dropping out of those professions. If you don't pour into your own cup and it's empty, there's nothing left to pour into anyone else's cup, and that's when you'll see that people exit certain professions because they just don't have any more to give. They've been giving, and there's just nothing there. Again, the long hours, lifting and adjusting, so that's the physical part again. And then other pressures. You might have pressures from your family. So your family, if you're going out and helping others, yet your family has needs as well, there's pressure there. You have to navigate that. How do you take care of your family, yourself, and then others? And then navigating the boundaries between you're doing a doula's role, and from my gathering, sometimes that's not very, it's not, sometimes health professionals don't have the greatest respect for it. And I know it has been changing, but you do have to navigate the pressure of working with a health professional who might not see you as integral to that birthing process. And then you have to advocate, but yet maintain your relationship. Again, and then let's go to the unique stressors. 24 hours, you're on call. You're dropping things at a moment's notice. You're holding clinical authority and influence, but not decision-making power. So you might see something that you think will benefit a client, but at the end, you're going to try to influence the client, but the client has last say. And then just these unmanageable things that you just don't know. Some things can just pop up, right? So these are just understanding the pressures faced by doulas. I know you guys know your doulas, and there are pressures that are faced by caregivers as well. So just take a look at that and just say, okay, is this you? Have you felt this? Have you seen that? So one of the signs that we're going to discuss is recognizing signs of unmanaged stress and burnout. So your body gives you warning signs before it starts burning out. Your health gives you warning signs. Your thoughts give you the behaviors, emotions, they give warning signs. And these are just some of them that we're going to go over. So some emotional signs that you might see the burnout that we're talking about, and compassion fatigue, where it's just like, it's that numbness that can take over instead of the care that you might find that the numbness is replacing the care. Anxiety, depression, or numbness. That is a true emotion, a numbness. And it's a warning. It's like a siren going ding, 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 ding. Hey, something's going on. And maybe something needs to be addressed. So if we go to anxiety, depression, or that could be the feeling of just that heart palpating, where you feel like, you just feel kind of tight and just wound tight, and you feel it in your body. Depression is another one you feel in your body. It might feel that feeling of, I don't want to do this. I don't know what to do. You might be irritable or angry towards coworkers or patients. And sometimes it might be that flash of anger and you don't even know why. It just happens. And then could be another sign of emotional sign is a loss of professional satisfaction. Yeah, it's just the blah. the les are blah, the blahs. Behavior signs, poor eating habits, or substance misuse. So one sign in the C&A world, I believe it was, what did she say it was? I think it was alcohol. They're right. There's substance misuse in the C&A world because of burnout, stress, and unmanaged stress and burnout. And that's just, again, a bell going out. Ding, 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 ding. If has that glass of wine turned into 5 glasses? Has it turned into 2 bottles? There might be something that an underlying issue that needs to be addressed, right? Withdrawal from coworkers and friends, isolating, increased absenteeism or lateness, just a dreading of going in and going to take care of a client or a situation, and difficulty concentrating or making decisions. Those are other behavior signs of burnout or unmanaged stress. And then if we look at physical signs, chronic exhaustion, that could be something else, but it could be a physical sign of unmanaged stress and burnout. You just can't get enough sleep. You just can't get enough rest. Or maybe you get too much rest and you're always in bed. So frequent illness, slow healing, headaches that just don't go away, or digestive issues that are persistent, body aches, heart palpitations that we were talking about earlier, and just loss of motivation. And so this is where I want to invite the group. Does anyone have any other signs that they didn't see or hear on here that they've seen through other people or that they've noticed?
I think for me, one of the things is not enjoying things that I normally enjoy. And that was probably on here somewhere, but I'm like super extroverted and, you know, networking events and all whatever mixers. And I just absolutely saw them on my calendar and did not want to do them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think also in some situations, similar to what Stephanie was saying today, we're in situations that are unusual also. And so like people have babies at home all the time and the hospital like over manages things and you feel that a lot when you're there, but then there are those times where it's something that's so severe. And so I think working through how you want things to go versus how they need to go,
Mm-hmm.
um, firing clients and how bad you feel, like just the dread of some of the situations or the not knowing how to do it or feeling disconnected in them.
Yeah, yeah, good, great examples. Um, does anyone else have anything they'd like to share?
I mean, I guess this kind of goes with like the irritability, but personally, I feel like my patience tolerance decreases a lot when I'm in like
Mm-hmm.
my peak burnout stress phase.
Okay. Yeah, that is definitely one of the signs. And you guys notice it though. So that's a positive. You're noticing it instead of it being unmanaged. And when you notice something, you can make different choices around that. So that's the positive, that it's noticed. Choices can be made around it. And that's what we're going to talk about next. So, does anyone else have anything?
I was just going to say that, like, when you have too many things on your to-do list and you just do them just to check them off versus, being engaged, you're too busy.
Yeah. So,
Jen, Sue.
just check, check mark. Just going. It's kind of robotic in a way, right? It's just check, 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 but you don't go through the feelings or the emotion of it. Um, so yes. So then we'll go to our next slide, and it's the practical tools and strategies to help manage stress and promote self-care. Yeah, let's talk about it. Let's see what does the plan look like for you. Okay. So you've mentioned it. It might feel like you just feel irritability, and it's you just feel that you've reached your limit with the patient, or you've reached your limit with some situation. You're checking out. You feel kind of the dread of like, oh, I have to go do this. I just want to rest. I can't be around people or whatever that might feel like. Um, those are warning signs. Okay, we're just honest about it. They are. And so now it's like, what are the tools? What are the strategies around that? How can you take care of you? And so self-care is not, I know it's a buzzword lately. It's like, oh, self-care, 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 but it's like needed. We have to take care of ourselves. Again, that thing that I like, the analogy I like to use. If my cup is empty, then I cannot pour into anyone else's cup. It's just not happening. We don't have any more to give. So there's we're here to ask, what are things you're doing to take care of you? And self-care might look like, and these are just suggestions, it might look like taking brief moments during shifts to deep breathe, to stretch, or mindful hand washing. That's like, instead of doing the ticking off the box, you're actually taking time and thinking about, what does this soap feel like? What does the water, is it warm? Is it cold? You're there in that minute, and you're not anywhere else but there. You're not worrying about anyone else but your hands. You feel the soap. You feel that moment. That's what it means to be in that mindful rest. And if you take days off, take your vacations, protect them. So I love that you guys have a network now. I don't know how it works now. Maybe you tell me, do you guys help each other? Is there like a vacation buddy system that you use?
We don't have that. We've tried a lot of different modalities over the years to give doulas the support that they need. One of the things that can happen is secondary trauma. So if you've had a traumatic birth yourself and you don't want that to happen to anyone else, it's kind of like Greenpeace back in the day, right? You want to like save the world. There's nothing wrong with that. But really making sure that doulas are aware of working through their own personal trauma, and that triggering is going to happen, and how to not take on secondary trauma. So we have socials every month, almost every month. In the winter, they're a little bit more spread out. We have the educational meetings every month. We are on Slack channels. We have other meetings kind of on the side, but I think what the co-op has tried to do is create a community where people can reach out and talk. My
Good.
schedule is always open to people to talk about things, and then making sure we're having the conversations about setting boundaries. Like, not every client is a good fit for you. You can say no to the client. It's not about them choosing you. It's equally about you choosing them. And I think that's a big thing to learn.
Right.
Uh, I always tell everybody you can't eat an elephant in one bite. So yes, all your business licensing, it's stressful. Do it one at a time. Medicaid, becoming a Medicaid provider. So I think we just kind of we try to use language in the co-op that's like, pace yourself on what you're doing, do one task at a time. Yeah, the whole thing is going to look overwhelming, and then ask when they need it. So we try to just be more open door, and then give
Uh-huh.
opportunities for us to get together. I
Okay.
People and personalities kind of like pair up together. We have a childcare group on Slack for people that need help with childcare so that they can all help each other. So I
Yeah.
think things like that are peripheral, recognizing them, and then like see a need and fill a
Right.
need sort of
Right.
thing. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So that's the peer support block that we would talk about then, that you guys are building for doulas. And then it's about the doulas utilizing the peer support. So one of the things I'm doing, I'm going back to school to become an LCSW, and that's a therapist.
What?
Say that again?
I just didn't know what that acronym was.
Oh, licensed clinical social worker. So
Thank you.
there are, yeah, we're the ones who can provide social work and therapy. So when you're doing therapy practice, it's creating networks around you. They're networks and webs of people who will help you when you need them. It sounds like you got a beautiful thing going with Slack, where people can reach out for help and reach out to their coworkers and reach out to other doulas when they need that assistance. Because when it comes to the work that you do, like in the therapy world, therapists understand therapists. We understand what it is to work with the clients. Doulas understand doulas, where other people might not understand a situation that happened, and you might go home and tell it to your partner, and your partner's like, yeah, okay. Mine would be like, yeah, okay, are you what are you doing, right? So it's not the same level of support as compared to having that other person who has been through it and can identify with you. So peer support is amazing, and if you can find it, reach out for it. There's a whole doula network for it. So reach out for people, reach out for help, and find those moments where you can maybe find somebody who will help you when you need to take that day off so that you don't burn out. Okay. So another one that we have here in the center is decompression, and that's using grounding techniques after work. So one thing is box breathing. That's one technique. My favorite technique that you can do, like even when you're just in the room with the client, it's a breathing technique where you breathe in your nose and you feel the cold air come in, and then you breathe out your nose, and then you feel the warm air come in. So if we can take a minute and just give it a try, okay? So I'm just going to lead you. All right, so go ahead and close your eyes. And then breathe in through your nose and feel how the air is cool, and hold it. And breathe out through your nose and feel how the air is warmer. Okay, do it again. Breathe in through your nose. Feel that cool air into your nasal passage. Hold it. Breathe out through the nose. Feel the warm air. Your body's heated it up, and it's warm now. And go ahead and breathe normal. Do that 3 to 5 times, and just bring it down. Bring the anxiety down. Right? So that's something you can take with you. That's a breathing technique. That's something you can do on your way home. That's something you can do with people who are around you. Something else that a licensed therapist taught me is a tapping. So you would hold yourself and cross your arms. And this is to really help relieve anxiety. It's called butterfly taps. So you cross your arms and you just take your hands and tap. And just feel your body will relax once it starts getting into that rhythm of the tap. The beauty of this one is you can take it lower and put your hands on your lap and do the same motion. Tap. If you need help with the relieving anxiety, that's another one. The butterfly taps. So finding ways to ground yourself, to step and feel the body somewhere else that's not in that tense moment. These will help. So butterfly taps, and then just mindful breathing. All right. Our next one, talking about setting boundaries. Jen, you talked about it though. You said it's okay to say no. If you and a client don't mesh, it's okay to say no without guilt. No is a very powerful word. It's a boundary that you set. And if your plate is full, then your plate is full. Sometimes that boundary does need to be set. The next one, keeping work and personal life time separate. You do less. You're on call. That if there is a possibility to put a silent on some notifications, and give it a shot. And then just work recognizing the signs of overload in yourself and finding that plan around it. Movement and nutrition, taking 10-minute, 5-minute short walks, chair stretches. You can do these things while you're with a client. You can do exercises. You can do things for your benefit and for your health. You can meal prep if you can, and then focus on progress, not perfection. When it comes to your health and wellness, I'm a big advocate of just progress, being consistent. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just consistently doing some sort of movement. And then lastly, reframing. that's a narrative switch. That's switching from, oh my gosh, I have to do this, to I get to do this. I get to do this, and I'm so proud of it, and I can't wait to help it. It's talking and retalking yourself, retalking to yourself. And then mistakes as learning opportunities, not necessarily failures. And then celebrate your small wins, because one positive moment can bounce out a very hard day. Oh, so I do have some scenarios. How am I doing on time? I'm doing okay, good. All right. So then this part, we're going to go over like some scenarios. These are just scenarios that could happen. You guys have real life scenarios, unless you want to go over a real scenario. Would anyone like to? And then we can discuss what self-care would look like for that scenario.
This is
Not
actually, this is a pretty good one.
okay. All right. Go ahead,
This
Jen.
happens pretty regularly. So I'm going to jump in. The first thing is, like, you've been with your client for over 14 hours. I often have had people, clients that are hospital births, and you say, when you go to the hospital, I meet you there. We're in text communication before, right? And Hannah, I have an example for this with you too, where you have to set a boundary when you're a postpartum doula and they're like, hey, when you come over, can you organize my entire pantry? And can you babysit? Can you watch my two toddlers and put them to bed? You aren't a nanny and you're not a cleaner or an organizer. That's not the role of a postpartum doula. So just being really clear, this is the time that I'm there and these are the things that I can help you with. So postpartum's a little different because you're doing like 4+ hour blocks at a person's house or overnight. So I think for postpartum doulas, it's having those roles kind of slide out of where they really belong. And that's a real one. The person that wanted the entire pantry organized and could you put my toddler to bed? But this is like for birth doulas, it's, well, what about if I'm in labor before I need to go to the hospital? Would you come to my home? And I said, well, sure, but I'm not superhuman. So generally, by the time you're going to the hospital and you're about 4 centimeters dilated, is about the time that you should be calling me anyway. So it's possible for me to be at your house, but are we using my time wisely? Because I get tired. So it's setting in the beginning, this is the boundary with them. So this is what I'll do. With inductions, like I'll come to the hospital, I'll get the game plan, then I will go home and this is when I will come back. But this is a great one when the room is tense and decisions are being made quickly. I think what the code phrase I try to teach every client is, can you give us 10 minutes to talk about this?
That's good.
Okay. So if you feel like things are happening and you're being overwhelmed and inundated, if I could teach my clients one thing, it was that. Because once everybody gets out of the room and if it's not an emergency, it's not an emergency. And you know when it's an emergency. It's very specific. No one's asking questions. It's just happening. And otherwise, it's not. You have time. So my one thing I always wanted clients to remember was, can you give us 10 minutes to think about it? So if I was a doula in that situation, I would just say, do you want a little bit of time to think about it or to talk about it so you guys can talk? Everyone, including myself, can leave the room. But I left last if I left. So I think sometimes you just need to interrupt the moment. And not have to worry about saying anything or responding perfectly, or that is a way to stay calm. That was like, everyone needs to get out of this room. So I set that up ahead of time, and that was the go-to every time I felt like things were getting stressful. And that's when I can say, this seems like it's tense, decisions are being made quickly, everyone's trying to stay calm and be supportive. What do you guys want? What do you want? What's your gut telling you? Because I feel tired. I feel all the pressure and the tension of the room. I'm not the one making decisions. It's not my body. It's not my family, and it's not my baby. I can support you in any way, but you guys really need to take a breath and figure it out. So I think the pause is the biggest thing.
And that's great. You come with a preconceived pause. Like, you know what your phrasing is, and you already have it planned. If you need to use it, you know what you're going to use. You know when you're going to use it and how you're going to use it. So then that's part of self-care right there. It's having a plan in place. So Jen, it is, can we take 10 minutes? And people usually will respect that. They'll give you the 10-minute time, but that also gives the doula a break, the client a break, and the tension can come down. And decisions, as you said, don't have to be made right then and there. If it's, you'll know when it does, but in that moment, if you just have a preconceived notion of what will I say in such and such situation, and just putting that in your toolbook belt and putting it in your toolkit, and going to that. So being prepped with that. That's wonderful. All right. So next, let's look at the second scenario. You're supporting a difficult birth yesterday. Things didn't go as planned, and it was emotionally heavy for both you and your client. Today you have another client who needs you to show up, but you notice you're feeling emotionally drained. You're replaying parts of the previous experience. You haven't had time to process or reset. Your new client is excited but nervous and looking at you for reassurance. They say, I'm so glad you're here. I feel better already. Now, I'm sorry, the young lady who mentioned earlier about being at you're kind of at the end of your rope, right? What was her name? I'm sorry. I don't know who mentioned that.
It was Stephanie, right?
Stephanie. All right.
Oh,
When you're at a shift and just things
Oh.
are kind of coming at you one after the other.
I was just saying I was at the end of the shift. I wasn't at the end of my rope.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. But no, this is actually kind of good. Not really, kind of relevant to yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't. Well, it will come up. While we're working the shifts, the doula shifts at the hospital, one client after another, and that is similar to what happened. Still, thinking about, the woman and the baby and her husband, and if she was okay, if she was in a good place, and it just being my shadow shift, I didn't want to just go in and check on her, and it, without the nurse, but then going into another client's room and then this is the exact scenario, going into a new client's room. She's a first-time mom. She's excited but nervous. She's there for an induction, and she's just, you can see the brightness in her eyes compared to what you just came out of. And at that moment, I realized, okay, now's not the time to be anxious, because they can feel that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, even if you haven't had time to process or reset, you can still, do some mindful breathing, or, even when you've switched, you can kind of
Mm-hmm.
ground yourself again, and maybe, get into the, okay, like I've got this. And then when you get a moment, do it again. Do it as often as you need to,
Yeah.
because that switch is
Yeah.
going to be difficult. Yesterday was a little heavy for me. I did have some time, to regulate myself, but it was also going in and seeing the difference between, the two patients and the vibe and the energy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I just know that stepping into a room, you already need to be in a completely different mindset, and you never know what you're going to walk into.
Right. That's right. So it's an abrupt switch, and it puts pressure on you. And so you said what you could do. You said it before you enter the next room. It's about being mindful and breathing, and then just taking a moment and being present for that moment. being present for the new mom, and you know, how can you get there? So it might look like that mindful breathing that we just did. It might look where you go to the bathroom and do a little mindful hand washing, the butterfly taps. How can you get yourself? How can you support yourself? Because you have to support yourself too, so that you don't burn out, so that you can manage the stress. Being switched abruptly is stressful, you have to acknowledge that yes, it is stressful. Now, what can I do around it? So it's all around creating and crafting your tool belt, and the resources or the tips, the tricks that you'll take with yourself in order to combat these moments where you're going to have to like find a way to get through, right? We have to find ways to get through. And there are ways, and we have to take care of ourselves too. So here's some resources that I just put up here. If you want to take a picture, or you're recording this, Jen. So here's the resources if anyone wants to see their recorders resources. But there's health and wellness, Healthy Monday tips. That this one you can sign up, and they'll give you super simple wellness tips on what you can do every Monday to get active, or just to keep your wellness up and active. There's a meditation timer. If you want to start meditating, this is a great timer to use. There's also, if anyone has any issues with mental health, then there's Mental Health Coalition, where you can go and find resources, and they will route you to local resources. And the Nevada 211. Nevada 211 is it's our statewide resource for all resources. So you can get housing resources, food resources, mental health resources. If you need a resource, you can find it at Nevada 211. It is a network, and it's a great place to go if even your clients might need something and you might not know where to go. You can direct them to Nevada 211, and it will be there for them. All right. So then, my name's Norma. Thank you for being here. This is where you can find information about us. We have a website. It's called kindredhealthcoach.com. And we do anything but the gym, but we also offer health coaching packages to people, and that could be around helping people build plans around stress management and just managing that. And then we have our email, my phone number, and then you can follow me on social media with Instagram or Facebook. And otherwise, thank you all for having me here.
Thank you so much.
And,
I'm glad you
yeah.
said that. I was going to ask you how people, I know you have packages and you work with people, especially who have health struggles too, correct? Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
I didn't know you were going for your LCSW. That's so
Yes,
cool.
ma'am.
I mean, you're
Yeah.
going to get on to all the other stuff, huh?
Yeah. Well, this one, it just aligns. It
Yeah.
aligns with what I'm doing. So I've been, I don't know, I've been just sitting here twiddling my thumbs, but now it's the time. So I'm going that path, and then I'll just continue doing what I'm doing, but as a LCSW and in the social work world.
Awesome. Does anybody have questions for Norma? Her program's really incredible. So, especially for moms who are feeling a little overwhelmed. And I remember when my kids were little, I didn't have a gym membership. I also lived in rural Alaska. There wasn't probably a gym to go to, but I had to set things up in my home. And so being able to not have to go anywhere to do something can be super important and helpful for people. There's a lot you can do.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you know clients who want to utilize services, it's great for them too. So, they don't have to add that extra stress onto their day. So, yeah, please reach out if you have any questions. But thank you for letting me be here and present.